Welcome, everybody, to episode 166 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Look like we have tag team edition today.
It's the BET version. So
Jason, how are you?
I'm here like every Saturday.
Yes.
I might talk a little bit more today. So
You might be talking a little bit more than me.
I am the avid wrestling watcher. You are the casual fan.
I am the casual fan. Yeah, I'm the wrestling fan that hates wrestling, but watch wrestling.
It's coming to a point.
Nice to see you in the comments, Taquan, already.
I don't even have my comments pulled up
Yeah.
just because I know he's the first.
Yeah, it's always the first. So thanks everybody for joining in. Steve will be here a little later. He had something to take care of. Not sure if Chris is going to do a running or not. He's on vacation with the family, so we'll see. So where do we start? I mean, how was your week? I should know how your week is. We work together.
Yeah. We work retail, so it's the worst.
Yes, the grinder machine for sure.
I hate everything and hate everybody.
Yep, that's how it
Merry
is.
Christmas. That's the time of year.
Yeah, I've been playing the God of War DLC, God of War Valhalla.
Mm,
Very fun, but very taxing. Very, very taxing. If you
I think
if you play Returnal, it's the roguelike style of
mm.
gameplay where you go through a level, you die, you got to start from the beginning and just keep working your way up. You just got to keep doing it.
Look, I told you that bear gave it to me in the beginning, and I was done. What was that? That wasn't even chapter one. That was like training, and I was like, "Yeah, let me hang this one up. Maybe I'll pop it back in and start something."
Got nowhere on it.
Nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah. So you can't play this DLC until you finish the game because it's spoiler.
No, my stubborn ass, I'll probably jump in there and try it.
God of War. That's right, Taco. It is God of War presents Dark Souls.
Is that a spoiler or is that a comparison between the games?
Comparison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, comparison. Yeah, you're not lying about that. It is like Dark Soulish for sure. Mhm. Well, we're here to talk about wrestling and what happened in the week's wrap up and all that stuff from Saturday until what yesterday. So,
Yeah.
do we want to start on? Do we want to do Jabroni or do we want to do Mount Rushmore? We want to start with positivity or negativity.
And we can get Jabroni out the way.
Is Jabroni out the way?
Get Jabroni out the way.
All right. Well, you go ahead. What's your Jabroni this week?
My Jabroni comes from NXT. Uh, During the men's breakout tournament, you had the fans chanting the Black Panther chants during Obafemi's match. And you got two black dudes of the same stature in the tournament. It's like, come on. That was I I would say you called him the N-word, but you didn't.
Yeah,
I would say that's what it just felt like. It just felt like out of place.
Yeah, and then especially the one, like I said, I skimmed over a lot of wrestling today because of this week because I was gaming, but I did see the one black dude dropped it out to the
The
Chase
Chase
U
U
guy,
did. Yeah. Yeah.
but like all the offense, but
I was expecting that because I didn't want two of the same stature guys in the tournament.
mhm.
Yeah. And they both like two ex-football players, and the ones was just like he was just fresh off the field.
Knew nothing,
Yeah.
knew absolutely nothing. And then plus the Chase U dude had story going on anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As to get you invested. So I'm interested in that.
Let's see what Taco said.
I'll send you the link, Taquan.
Yeah. Hey, for me, it's hard for me because of some guy who just showed up on WWE now, and I just can't take wrestling anymore. So thanks to that dude up in Chicago, this is how I feel.
Oh, okay. Phil?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's What made that your jabroni? Just still the whole
Oh
experience.
no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! That's not my jabroni. That's just
Oh, okay.
making me not care about wrestling,
Oh, okay. Oh,
especially
oh.
main roster. Yeah, everybody know about that. No. Mm-mm.
I'm here for
Um.
him. He's making his rounds. He's taking pictures with the young talent. He's looking like he wants to be there. So
Mhm.
yeah, putting that positive spin on everything. We'll
Yeah.
see how this carries out.
But going into my jabroni was that last segment of NXT. It's just the face off with Trick and Dragunov. You know, that was okay. But then whenever Mello came into it and was like, "Oh, it was Dragunov who attacked us," I was like, "Come on!" Like clearly it's not. Then him getting taken out in the beginning of the beginning of the show was
Yeah,
even worse because you see him throw the chair off of him out the way. I'm like, come on, man, we know you just faked it. Let's go. This ain't 95 pulling wool over your eyes. Like, yeah, you got beat up. Like, nah. It
see, his promo skills in the end just threw me off. I was there for Trick and Dragon off.
mhm.
They were holding it down. Once you got Mello in and his melodramatic, it wasn't me and all that, I couldn't take it. I'm like, man, let this man just say I don't miss and wrestle. That's it.
It just seems like for me, like everything during that whole segment was completely off.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like big boutish, especially for the NXT title.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like man, it's just Trick's first time going for the NXT title. You know how Dragunov is and everything. I mean, man never has a bad match. I wanted to be big boutish,
Mm.
and there was nothing big boutish about it. It just seems like ever since they let Junior Varsity into that storyline, and now they adding somebody else into the storyline is just getting further and further and further away.
Junior varsity for those who don't listen that often is Lexus King.
Yeah,
So he's been relegated to junior varsity.
yeah, he's Junior Varsity. That's all it is.
Mm, will they deliver in a match? I'm sure they will. They did.
Um,
That was Trick's best match to
oh,
date. So
I'm
they'll
definitely sure they
deliver. You
will.
just don't. You
Look,
wasn't here for the hokey. I respect you. You respect me.
hmm
Okay.
it didn't look who he's fighting. The man who never has a bad match, who carries
Yeah.
everybody, literally carries everybody.
I see you, Taquan. I seen the uproar about that.
Yeah, so that's my jabroni.
Mm,
I mean, I have no other jabronis
no.
to possibly think of. But you hit it with the thing too, the breakout tournament. And I
There,
can't.
there's people I want to see in it, but now that you threw junior varsity in there, to me, I'm just thinking this is
Of course.
his to win. You just wrote into that story right there.
Hmm.
So unless Melo cost him the match, his final match, but is Melo up on SmackDown though? No, because they still have to continue the storyline. So
Hmm.
he could cost him that match.
Yeah. Then Melo getting lot of screen time too.
I'm enjoying it. Just keep him off the mic. I feel like did you watch SmackDown?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's going to be him versus Kevin Owens,
Hmm.
and then Lashley versus Santos.
Yes.
What are you expecting from that?
Um, I think Santos is going to win
All
somehow.
right.
Yeah. That somehow Bobby's going to get caused. Like something's going to cause Bobby to fight
Hmm.
and Santos to get in, and then it's going to be obviously KO. I think so.
Oh,
Santos and KO to me
okay.
is going to be it. Then eventually KO winning and fighting Logan for the belt.
Mm,
That's where I'm headed with it.
okay. I was thinking Lashley versus. was thinking Lashley versus Mello,
Interesting.
and then Lashley wins, but this somehow puts Mello into the Hurt Business.
Okay. I did not see that coming.
Because I figured he needs something like that. Put him in like a JD role.
Okay.
Yeah, but not like the jobber like JD.
Yeah, but not JD Daubers. Have to do a little more. Yeah. I had it Owens winning everything.
Okay.
Just because he's a big name that got switched over to there.
Mm.
So you need him to do something. Because obviously, Roman's not dropping the belt at all until Mania.
No.
With what reports say, the quote unquote reports.
I don't listen to that. I try to keep out of the sheets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you could have Owens with the belt, which will be like the belt on the program until the belt is finally relinquished. So have him be the man until somebody else become the man.
No.
Yeah. Then who would that be? Is that going to be Randy? Is that going to be AJ? Or is that going to be LA Knight? Because all three stood tall in the ring at the end.
What are your thoughts on AJ's return? Looking chiseled.
Yeah.
That's your guy.
It looked like he was working out with Cena and Hunter.
And guns were just
yeah. Just in the black jeans and all that stuff. Excited for AJ to come back. I mean, I just want him to be on his own. I don't need the club and anything.
No, don't bring those two back.
Yeah, that's better. They're like handcuffs on him. And then like super handcuffs on him. And then you have your three people there, like they always do against the bloodline.
Mm.
Well, at least the two of them, because the one is not going to be there the whole time. I want Cody to beat Roman just so Cody can decide he wants to be an active father. So basically, anybody who gets that belt going to become part-time. That's what it is.
I watched last night, and it didn't like his appearance. It still felt big
for Roman.
Yeah. It felt like it meant something that he was there. So whatever they're doing, do I hate that he's off TV months at a time? Yeah, but at least it still feels big when he returns.
It does.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The crowd is into it. Everybody's into it.
Mm.
So guessing Hunter knows what he's doing with him. Speaking of that, let's go to Raw. Because I actually did I skimmed through Raw, but the Punk and Seth little standoff. I was kind of interested. Yeah, I sat down. I sat down and actually watched that just to see what both had to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do I care?
No, put their differences aside and know how to make the money.
Yeah,
that's all I see.
Do I want to see it because I know of the history? Yes. Like these two have been linked since
forever.
NXT.
Yeah.
So it's a match I kind of want to see, even though I'm still not on Team Punk.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. And when I was watching it, I did not know that he entered himself into the Rumble. They better not let this man win the Rumble. It didn't challenge for the belt. It didn't actually win the belt. I'm like you doing that, man. You are AEW for sure.
Bro knows how we feel, man. My man walked away and could have stayed away. I was hoping it was a Rumble in Pittsburgh, so it could be his last match.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll be truthful. I am for the match.
Yeah.
Oh, that would never happen.
See, all these people throwing their name in the Rumble just keeps on changing my pick.
Taquan, that will never happen. I will never sing that song.
Look, little all right. Much how when Cody first came back, I was singing the damn song. It was in my head. As soon as that man's music hit after he came back for like 2 weeks, that cult of personality was in my head and I was humming it. And I was hoping nobody caught me. I was like trying to catch myself before somebody caught me. It was in there. It stuck. And I hate it. But yeah, him now my picks on the Rumble is just my pick was LA Knight. That was gonna be my initial pick.
You giving out spoilers before the prediction show?
But it's changing so much. I'm just telling you what my pick was. It's changing. Like you gotta go like foregone conclusions. Because it was like LA Knight, go take the belt off of Seth. Now, Cody was the first to announce, finish my story. CM Punk knows his name, man. Finish my story. And I'm like,
that story to finish.
Now it could be my pick, but it's not happening. Oh yeah, LA Knight ain't winning shit now. No.
No.
I put that up for you. Yeah.
No, he ain't winning anything.
No. You had all these talents come back. The main event scene is stacked more than ever on both brands. Oh, your boy's just in the mix.
That man's a foregone conclusion now. He might as well change his name to Santino.
No, I'm not gonna relegate him to like you're done, you're buried.
You might as well.
I don't think he's touching main event gold. No. All these names back? Yeah, no. Next week, somebody else is going to show up, and then there you go. Further down the main event card, you still a main eventer, but yeah, you ain't touching that.
Edge and Daniel Bryan going to show up next week.
Back in the mix.
Yeah. My pick for Rumble still strong. I'm not going to give it out until the prediction show.
No, so none of these interests have swayed you.
No.
Your pick won't even be in the Rumble. Watch.
Yes, Taquan, that is the perfect title for him.
I'm an LA Knight fan. He's not. So.
I'm not an LA Knight fan.
He'll agree with your slander. I won't.
Yes. All right, so did a little jabroni there, just a little banner back and forth. Mount Rushmore. Do you have one Mount Rushmore, two Mount Rushmore?
Does yours come from NXT?
Mine's come from SmackDown.
SmackDown? Okay. Mine was just the how do I put it, the reaction to Trick on Deadline. That kind of felt like old NXT takeover-ish.
Okay.
Like the man had the building rocking from entrance to end. Say what you want about his in-ring, he's getting up there, but as a person, as a character, he's over.
Yes, he is.
He's you can't say anything bad about that. No. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Other than the 4 falls in 2 minute booking, which was kind of jabroni-ish. Which this
man went on a run. He hit the God of War rage mode, both analogs together.
The Venoms. What is the Venom attack? You see Taquan, I'm showing brothers love on here.
Wish I could put that up, but I'm not going to put that up. But yes, it is like that. I said last week, he's my man. I'm on board with him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
become like one of my favorite wrestlers, just
Yeah.
over and everything. So much over, like I was on YouTube just listening to his theme music and just saying, "Whoop that trick." And every time he come out, I'm like Booker too, like whoop that trick, yeah, get it.
He even hopped on it. Yeah. So speaking of that, you said off of his entrance, I seen a post of somebody that had the metaphor entrance, and it was like, this is the best entrance in wrestling today. And I seen a couple tricks in there, and I seen a couple other people. But a lot of people were enjoying the metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have as your entrance?
We're gonna save that because we got best of the because we got entrance of the year coming up whenever we do our Mount Rushmore wrestler of the year, women's wrestler of the year, etc.
You count him in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's still not flipping over. Come on, man. You coming with the gear, they're gonna lose today, man. Come on.
Here we go. Yeah. Whoop that trick, Steve. Whoop that trick.
What up?
My man just did 90 on the boulevard to get here.
So in all transparency, I did not sleep in today. Okay, this is not, we're not having a repeat. All right. Mental health is wealth. So I had to go do my little therapy session this morning to make sure that my mental health stays in wealth, and had to get that out the way. Had to reschedule, so normally don't go on Saturdays, but when they call and ask for you to make an adjustment based on their schedule, you kind of roll with the flow in that situation. So I appreciate your patience here, gentlemen. But how we living? How we feeling? How's everybody doing?
Here.
Doing good. We're here, living a dream, right? Trifecta, back at it again, coming up on holiday season. I know you guys are itching to get it over with. Last
first thing we started with.
7 days.
That's the first thing we started with interest.
Right. All right. Where we at? What we go into so far? Anything?
We just ran off jabronis, and I gave him
real quick, a little banner back and forth. And Jason just did his Mount Rushmore.
What was the jabroni so far?
Mine was the Black Panther chants. The Wakanda chants and during the NXT breakout match. They were doing like the chants. I was like, come on, man.
I didn't catch those. I'm not gonna touch that.
No.
You can, if you want to chant Wakanda, chant Wakanda. If you want, like, hey,
no, it was like Umbabe. Like, come on, man.
And then mine was the last segment in NXT with Trick, Mello, and Dragunov.
Yeah, that didn't hit the way it was supposed to, huh?
No.
Like, I feel like they tried to put a seed of doubt there with introducing Ilya as the person, but
the next one,
it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
None at all. Like, why would he? And I know Mello laid out the reasons as to why he put it on him, but still, as he was talking, I'm like, still makes no sense. He's the champ. Why? Like,
yeah, he was the champ before like all this happened.
Yeah, like, so I don't. To me, I feel like the steam that they had behind this story when it initially broke down, and we were like, oh, they're redoing the Triple H Shawn Michaels angle. You know what I mean? Man, I feel like they missed the opportunity to wrap it up and give the payoff, and now the payoff's just not going to be worth it. Because you had Lexis King at the pay-per-view saying, hey, it wasn't me, I'm just a clout chaser, thanks for the pay-per-view spot.
I like that.
I like that.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I was okay with that.
I was like, oh, that's not like the most 2023 thing ever. I don't know what it is, because that's, hey, Taquan, it's not, don't hate on the macadamia nut cookie, okay? It's an underrated cookie. It's very underrated cookie. And which one of us would be considered the macadamia nut? Because that can be debated. Okay,
That's a clip.
that can be debated. All right,
All three of us.
Jason's over there chanting "Babe," but look at his shirt. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Right. So yeah, I just felt that the payoff to Melo Trick, the whole storyline, Melo going up to SmackDown for the US tournament, like it should have been wrapped up and then move on. Now I don't think it's going to be what they want it to be as far as a oh shit moment when you had the opportunity to deliver on the oh shit moment, right? Like
a couple times,
and it would have been worth it. But that was definitely a miss for me. As far as my jabroni this week, I'm gonna backtrack it a little bit based off of recent events and situations. So initially it was gonna be Jericho, Omega, Starks, and Big Bill. But now coming out of it this morning, learning that Kenny has diverticulitis, is in the hospital, you can see why my man felt like shit and still went out there. So I got to give him props in that regard. Because people were roasting him. Like, look, this is the great Kenny Omega. Listen to the way he talks. Look how he's dressed. This and that. It's like, yo, my man went out there with diverticulitis and my wife has that. So I know how that can be personally, like when it does flare up in that. So we all know what it did to Brock Lesnar back in the day. He almost died multiple times. So well wishes to him. So I'm not going to fully crap all over the segment like I was originally going to, right? Still don't think anybody benefited but Enzo Amore, which that's Amore, the title for the show. Like, I mean, he got more name buzz out of that segment than he's had in the 4 or 5 years he's been released. The last time his name was talked about this much in pro wrestling was whenever him and Big Bill crashed the ROH pay-per-view and got into the fight with the Briscoes. Like that was, like
literal fight,
shoot fight. I will say I saw a clip from ROH last night. Dax went over to a woman sitting front row. Now, if you buy tickets to an event, I get it. It's a new era. People are going to be on their phone constantly, checking, tweeting, pictures, Instagramming, right? But if you buy front row, there's no reason to be on your phone. You're front row. Like, you shut out all this money to sit front row. And during their match, he literally got off the apron, walked over to her, stood at the guardrail just waiting. And then finally and she looked up on her phone and he's like, what the fuck? Like, if you're going to sit front row on your phone, why even come to the show? And then hop back up and got back in the match. Like, I'm like, that's no reason to be like, I feel that's a bigger issue. Hey, last night's show was good. Don't say what you will for the build. I enjoyed the show last night. But yeah, man, like you got to be in the moment more often. I feel like that's the thing that's missed. We saw that with LeBron. Whenever LeBron broke the scoring record, we had everybody up on their phone, and there was one guy sitting there,
Billy Knight.
Just sitting there, just taking it all in, absorbing the moment. Like I did that last week with my son's graduation from basic training. I'm like, hey, we got to take pictures. We got to do this. And she's like, let's just enjoy the moment for what it is. Like, just be present in the moment. And I feel like we can do a better job of that. So, shout out to Dax for calling her out last night in the middle of the pay-per-view. I thought it was hilarious. But so that the Omega stuff kind of diverted my jabroni. So I don't have a backup jabroni until I saw that clip. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of put you on the list here just as don't buy tickets to front row and sit there on your phone the whole time. Now, if she's not a wrestling fan and you're taking her to the event because that's your girl,
I can see.
Why are you spending front row money on tickets to take your girl who don't like wrestling? that dude should be on the jabroni because you got to read the room. Take your boy, take your brother, your cousin, uncle, whoever. Like, take somebody that's going to actually sit there and enjoy the event with front row tickets. Don't take your girl just because you want to take your girl to a wrestling show. I'm not going to force my wife to go to a wrestling show. She hates wrestling. She doesn't get it, doesn't watch it. So I'm not going to drag you to front row to sit through something. Unless Roman Reigns is in town, then she'll want to be front row because he's her tribal chief. So go figure. But yeah, so I didn't have anybody else to put on a list as far as jabroni of the week goes. Mount Rushmore wise, where did you guys land so far?
I just put just Trick overall on Deadline. Like, he had that building rocking.
Hey man, I don't know who produced that match. I'm very curious to know if it will ever come out who produced that match.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way they laid that out and told the story of him being the underdog and overcoming and just continuing his momentum that he's built up throughout the year through that entire match, like that match alone just set up his entire culmination for the year as far as where he was and where he's at now. Like, you can't do that any better for a star.
I don't know. I almost had that last 2 minutes on my jabroni list. just for the sake of
the Hulk up.
Well, I'm like, oh, Braun Breaker's going on this brony list. Just let this man come in and spear everybody like Goldberg, and he's up 4-0. Like, what are we doing? Like, Taekwon, after the show, hop on Twitter, slide into our DMs. Give us your information. We'll send you a shirt. We'll pick the shirt. So don't be beggars can't be choosers. Okay?
Give it a free shirt.
Yeah, give us your size and your information, and we'll get a shirt sent out to you because you carried the Luigi Primo bit all year long. So I gotta be a man of my word and pony up and give you a free shirt there. So we appreciate you. But yeah, Braun was about to be there because I'm like, there's no way they're just having him come in and just like destroy everybody. And yeah, because normally you don't see that many pinfalls in that. I mean, granted, they've only had one match, but they structured it completely different from the men's match last year when they did it, which I liked. So kudos to them. But yeah, that build and story that they told with Trick, how could you not put him up on Mount Rushmore after that week?
Like, he had the crowd feeling like NXT of old.
Yeah, that was like DIY Alpha Academy. That was, Sammy and Shinsuke. That was, Finn and Joe. Like that was there, like popping. And I thought both of them, the women's and the men's matches were really done well.
Oh yeah, they had some sequences in the women's that I really enjoyed.
I think they did it smart with Lash Legend, making her be the powerhouse, and hit all the power moves. The double suplex off the top rope was like, okay, she can do some stuff. But yeah, I thought overall it was good. You got Cora coming back, your girl, the lioness herself, coming back. So yeah, it was a lot of good things out of NXT last weekend for sure. Donna, what do you got?
I actually have two. I forgot the other one. Two matches. First one, Waller and Mello on SmackDown. I said it a while back that these two are going to be like the future of like main eventing. Like, I could see them being like Rock, Stone Cold, Shawn, Brett. Like, it just mesh well with each other. The two of them, that both cocky, they both want that one spot. So,
yeah, it looks like she doubled up on the hardware. She had the original hardware and then went back in for a replacement and got additional hardware. Pro.
Yeah. So So that match still intrigued me. Like, was their fourth time maybe fighting each other? It still was like their first. So really enjoyed that match. And then the second match was it would be a shock, but it's Moxley and Swerve from Wednesday.
Swerve is on a different level right now,
But
man.
Swerve is just doing his thing. He is just doing. I
Different.
mean, I can't say
different look.
nothing bad about Swerve whatsoever this year so far.
Do you have an issue with the outcome?
No, because they protected him in a way with his shoulder up that he has a gripe,
Mhm.
right? So it's not a legitimate win by Moxley. There's still a way for him and Moxley, based on the standings and the points, to be tied, to have them go in the semifinals, to where I hope Swerve goes over into the finals. So no, I don't have an issue with the way they booked that match on Wednesday and the outcome of it. Would I have rather given the straight win to Swerve and then figure out a way to get back to where they're going? At least the way I see where they're going, as far as having him and Moxley in the semis. No, I'm okay with where they're at right now with that. I've enjoyed the whole tournament. This is the best tournament AEW's done.
It's like they took their time with it. Thing.
Yeah, like it's logical. You're telling multiple stories for multiple people within both sides of the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
You're presenting people. Excuse me. You're presenting people well that need to be elevated. You know, Roosh has looked really good.
Yes.
Brody King has looked really good.
Yes.
Andrade has looked really good. Swerve, obviously. Like, so, I mean, if you're elevating 4 people out of the 8 that are in it, take Moxley and Danielson out because they're already at the top tier level.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing really good things. I don't like the fact that, you know, Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal got 0 points.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit above that, but
at least they're getting TV time, so people see them on all 3 of their shows. So I'm liking that from them.
So I am very pleased with the. Hold on.
Oh.
So that pro with some AEW dislike there. No, I got nothing bad to say about the tournament. And logically speaking, based on the their programming, this style tournament fits in great because you can put it on, you can do longer matches, and people aren't complaining if they just get wrestling. Like Wednesday night Dynamite, they had, I think it was like roughly an hour or 70 minutes total of in-action wrestling time out of a 2-hour show, which some people will say, well, that's not the way to do it because you don't have your in-ring promos, your backstage segment, like you're losing entertainment value. But Wednesday night was one of the best episodes of Dynamite that I've watched recently. And I think it was because they focused on the tournament and they had those matches and the wrestling was good bell to bell for every single one. Like, I wasn't just enamored about, all they're doing is throwing these people out there and not doing nothing else.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, within the tournament, they're telling stories within it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, Roosh is definitely somebody. We talk about Swerve, like he should. There's no reason why he should not be a top guy in your company.
Exactly.
Like you have people there, so when you get into these situations with Danielson, who's banged up, who's on his last run, you have Omega. We don't know how long Omega is going to be out for. You can finally give Moxley a freaking break, even though I don't know if he actually wants a break, but he was supposed to get time off for like 2 years now. Like you're building people up to put them in place to where you have a main event picture that's interesting and people want to see those individuals in those spots to see what they do.
Mm-hmm. That's just not MJF.
And that whole, like I talked about the Trick and Mello payoff. I don't know if the Devil storyline is, I don't want to say I'm over it, but I feel like the steam of it has come off the last week or two.
Yeah.
Even though it's the most that the Devil's been involved the last week or two, I just feel like something's slowing down with it.
They said since they threw Hangman on the windshield, they said it's going to be Jungle Boy. Glass and glass.
And his suspension's up, so he has been backstage. They just quote unquote haven't done anything with him yet. So we'll see where that goes. Is the payoff going to work? Is Jungle Boy being the Devil? I don't think so.
No,
but I don't. At this point, as far as looking at the usual suspects, I don't really know who could be revealed as the head honcho that would make me go, oh shit, they really pulled off a great story here. Like the Aces and Eights, nobody expected Bully Ray to be the guy.
No.
And Bully Ray was the guy. And I feel like they're running with that type of storyline with it. I just don't know if there's going to be somebody there to where the reveal goes, oh, why didn't we see it? But yeah, he's the guy and it makes sense.
It's going to be one of those episodes, bro.
Goldberg out there sparing people before Atlanta Falcons games now. That's where he's at as far as getting paydays.
Sean Spears.
That's tremendous. Kenny, what up, Kenny?
What up, Ken?
How's it going, man?
So my hold on, I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Uh-oh. He's coming with something. Yeah, so hopefully this Devil reveal will be good. But I doubt it will.
All right, so let's get into some big meaty men slapping meat. Okay. Shout out to Chris for providing the early birthday present for your boy. I got this in the mail the other day, and I'm like, who the hell sent me this shirt? Right? And my daughter was in the dining room whenever I got it. I opened it up, I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, this got to be one of the guys from the show. And she's like, well, let me see the shirt. And I turned it around, and she read it. First words out of her mouth. That's what she said. I'm like, God damn. I had my 13-year-old jokes. Right? Taquan, I'll wear it out in public. Don't worry. Okay. At least I'm not the white dude wearing the black jacked and stacked Will Hobbs shirt or whatever it is. Like,
I almost bought that shirt.
Yeah. So
I know I got roasted on here.
So with this being the instance here, I had Bronson and Ivar from Raw out there doing their thing. The superplex from the top rope, insane, right? And then last night we got Keith Lee and Shane out there doing Hurricane Ranas from the top rope on each other. Like, that was nuts and insane. So Big Meaty Men Slapping Meat had a huge week. Okay, huge week. Loved it. But they're not my jabroni. They're not my Mount Rushmore. As much as I want to put them on there, they're not my Mount Rushmore. My Mount Rushmore.
What does NFL allowed to do? Big man balling.
Yeah, that might be new
Big
segment.
Meaty Men Slapping Meat.
Big Meaty Men Slapping Meat segment. We gotta keep Big E's memory alive here. But my Mount Rushmore goes to Athena and Billy Starks from last night. Main event in ROH. First woman to do that. The culmination of a great story and further cements, in my eyes, spoiler alert, I've been saying it for weeks now, as Athena being my female women's wrestler of the year in 2023. Them two went out there and did the damn thing last night in that matchup. Great story, great physicality, tremendous movesets, and then, you know, the payoff at the end, it was what it was. I'm thoroughly enjoyed it. You had Athena go over, Billy Starks got over. It's everything you want in a match on a pay-per-view that elevates everybody. So kudos to them last night for going out there and doing their thing. If you haven't seen the match, go on, find it, watch it. You won't be disappointed. One of the better women's matches of the year. I loved everything about it. And, you know, Athena needs her shine and her spotlight ASAP. ASAP. Because character-wise, she's killing it. In-ring-wise, she's killing it. And she's often forgot about because she's on ROH, which is a shame. So, TK, make the move, get her over, elevate her up, do whatever you got to do, but put the shine on her because she's one of your best talents, hands down, men or women.
Not being seen.
Yep.
So that's where we're at. Did you like how SmackDown ended last night?
The turn?
The turn. The comeback and then the turn.
I didn't mind it. I just don't know the reasoning. Maybe that'll come. But at least it gives LA something to do and take him out of the picture. Out of the main
So for
event
those of you that did not watch SmackDown last night, we had AJ Styles return at the end of the main event segment.
Came back big, black, and jacked.
Somebody took a picture of it was AJ on the apron and Randy was like off in his diagonal, and they're like, I guess WWE's throwing out the wellness policy because these two are not what they were before.
I told Jason he looked like Cena and Triple H after they got done trading, but he looked like who's it, Blade from AEW in all black.
So AJ comes back. Him, Orton, and LA Knight take out the bloodline, run them out of the ring. Baby faces go over, heels standing at the ramp. And then AJ turns on LA Knight and lays him out. And it even shocked Orton. Like, I loved Orton's facials. Randy Orton, there's something about Randy Orton. When he's in the ring and he's invested, there's never a wasted movement, moment, facial. Like, everything is done with intentions with him. He's one of the most natural performers ever. And he looked at AJ like, usually it's me doing that. I'm not mad that you did it, but kind of looking at him like, hey,
I got my eye on you.
Well, welcome. It's about time you stepped up and did something here.
I said as long as the club isn't tied to him.
Set him on his own path.
Yeah.
I think it does it, Jay, like to your point, it pulls LA Knight out of the bloodline angle. It gives him something to do with the top guy that still keeps him at the top of the card. So you're still keeping his momentum. He can still be the baby face. You have AJ as the heel. But AJ's hard. That's a hard guy not to cheer just because of how good he is. So we'll see. AJ as a heel normally don't really work. But if he can tie in some of that like Bullet Club stuff and, go from there, I think he can pull it off and it'll be a good angle to have. Taekwon, do you want your free shirt or not? I'm gonna have Jason pick out a shirt, and it'll be the whitest thing you've ever put on. So yeah, I'll see it. It's another layer added in, and gives people something to do. I thought SmackDown was good last night, even though it didn't feel like a holy shit show. They touched on a lot and did a lot, but we'll see how they start to heat up for Rumble and where that goes in that regards. Now on the flip side, going back to Monday, surprised nobody had the Seth and CM Punk interaction as their Mount Rushmore.
We skimmed over it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it good? Yeah. Are we invested? Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I am invested in this.
Or are we still on Punk's side? We're not there yet.
No.
So like Chris's big thing, and he says it all the time, and we say it too, but like the best storylines in pro wrestling are when you blur the reality with the scripted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seth and Punk don't gotta like each other to work together. I work with people all the time, and I'm like, everybody does, right? It just happens in the workplace. You're not gonna be best friends with everybody that you work with. But I think both are professional enough to know how much money can be made in this feud, and what it can do to go out there, blur those lines. Do I believe everything that Seth said on Monday night? Absolutely. Do I feel like there's true animosity there? Absolutely. Do I feel like he actually hates CM Punk? Absolutely. And now I'm hooked. What do you do from here? Where do you go? It's not often people get a one-up on Punk on the mic. Say what you will about his wrestling over the last couple of years, but his mic skills have always been there. So having Seth go up 1-0 in the proverbial promo battle is an interesting starting point. And we'll see how Punk responds and goes from here. I mean, I don't think they rushed to do that match at the Rumble, which they're not, because Punk declared for the Rumble. So they're setting the groundwork and giving you a tease of what it's going to be like heading into WrestleMania, which I feel them two are going to main event night one. And that was going to be my next point, Pro. The amount of money AEW left on the table by not getting those guys to work together and actually do the storyline just shows the difference in the companies and their outlook on the business as a whole. WWE has done forever and a day. Oh, hey, Edge, you sliding in Alita's DMs? Guess what? You and Matt Hardy going together, real life, right? Hell, even TNA did it with Angle and Jarrett.
Yeah.
Right?
Hogan and Savage.
You got lust in your eyes for Elizabeth. I see it. Yeah. You can't leave money on the floor unless you're at the strip club. But other than that, you gotta pick it up. No, that's not right, Taekwon. We're not gonna put that up. But there's a huge difference. And I feel, they were talking on Busted Open as far as like Booker of the Year. And they brought up a good point where Tony Khan can be the matchmaker of the year, but he's not the Booker of the year. And there's a difference between matchmaker and Booker. And I feel like if AEW is going to get back to being hot again, they need a Booker, not a matchmaker.
True.
Because we can make matches all day long. We come on here and book matches. Does that make me a Booker? No, it makes me a matchmaker. That's not going to continuously drive television programs and get people to tune in each and every single week. You got to be a booker and not just a matchmaker. So I don't know if AEW will turn it around next year. We'll see. This tournament's a good start because I feel like TK is being more of a booker than a matchmaker in this tournament. You talk to him one-on-one, bro?
That's his phone number.
You and Phil have fireside chats together.
They play Fight Forever every Wednesday.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So yeah, we'll see, but I don't know. It may pick up, it may not, but we'll go from there. Some other news just circling around pro wrestling world. New Japan. Did you guys see this with New Japan?
No.
So they're one of 9 promotions to join together. To join together for United Japan Pro Wrestling Group.
Okay.
Don't know the other 8 promotions and what this means. So they're allegedly putting on a joint event in May. I guess with all the top Japanese promotions. I didn't even know there were 9 Japanese promotions.
They must be pulling out
because you got New Japan, you got All Japan, you got Noah, you got Stardom.
Those are the 4 I know. You
got DDT. So there's 5. I can't think of the other 4. So I don't look. New Japan has tried a bunch of things to get them to be more relevant from a global perspective.
I don't think he knows who Marsha Ambrose is.
Bro, don't take that. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, New Japan, they're doing this. I guess it's good from the Japanese side of things. All the promotions working together, and because for a lot of time you wouldn't get that based on the history, much like CMLL and AAA in Mexico. But New Japan continues to work with everybody. It's just their talent's not presented. Like outside of Okada, when is like a New Japan talent gone over on somebody? That was actually New Japan. I mean, Ospreay had some wins, right?
But that's weird. I think they're top dog in that, aren't they?
Who?
New Japan.
Top dog in what?
In that little
in the collective group?
Yeah, they'll be top dog.
Yeah. I would say Noah. Well, yeah. I mean them and Noah, but they've been doing stuff with Noah more recently the last 2 years. So they put on a joint show with them. Yeah. I would say those are the top 2 as far as Japan wrestling is going. See how Stardom fits into it, if they're included or not. Being an all women's promotion, I think it would be smart to include them in that. But just something to keep an eye on. Interesting outside of the U.S. wrestling scope of things. Sometimes we get too caught up in the bubble with WWE, AEW, TNA.
Were they strong in that app? Because Strong has women, right?
Yeah, but they haven't really done anything with Strong recently. So I don't know. I feel like if you're having a lot of your talent leave for the U.S. market, because we've seen Jay White leave and sign with AEW, we've seen Ospreay. WWE is apparently making a hard push to Okada when his contract's up. You know, you got to do something to keep talent around. You can't have all your stars be groomed and leave for other promotions because the platform's bigger. Which U.S. market wise, maybe from a global perspective, you get, you know, more eyes on you here because people in the U.S. that watch wrestling, if you don't wrestle in the U.S., you don't matter, which we know is not the case because there's talent everywhere across the globe that people aren't aware of. You know, Japan and Mexico being the two that are highlighted the most with stars, but you got wrestlers everywhere, whether it's the UK, Australia, like you got people all over the place that are talented that just don't have the platform to be big stars. So I just found that interesting, something to keep an eye on and see where it progresses as it comes out.
Well, where to go?
All right. Speaking of outside promotions, TNA announced some signings this week. So they signed Trent Seven, they signed Kushida, slowly building up their roster for their relaunch.
Who's Kushida at?
Who's in New
Where's
Japan?
Kushida at?
Where was he at?
He was in New Japan.
He was in New Japan. He went back.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought he was over here doing something with somebody. Was it TNA? Like just doing random
Well, he was doing. He did have matches in TNA and that,
Okay,
but now
that's
they
cool.
actually officially signed him. So, yeah. I mean, look, that the Hard to Kill and the Snake Eyes, the two events TNA got coming up next month with the cards that they've announced and the matches and the people on there, they're hitting the ground running. So let's hope the production and money in that regards steps up their presentation. Because I'm expecting big things from them next year in 2024. I see you, pro. I see you.
Gave you screenshots of the text messages.
So, all right. Anything else?
Yes. Your boy is about to sell out Madison Square Garden. Dirty Dom. First match. CM Punk's first match announced.
When the best in the world want to be the best in the world, you got to go against the third best.
He's top 3, not 1 and 2. You gotta get the phrase right. So they announced that match, and then they announced Nakamura and Cody in a bull rope match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you're giving these away at events and not putting them on TV, like which
holiday live.
I wonder with the Dom and CM Punk thing, whose idea was it? And you know, kudos to Dominic Mysterio coming, a year and a half ago. Would you think he'd be the one to work with CM Punk in his first match back?
Not at all.
Did you catch Raw when he came backstage and was talking to him? I was just looking at like Dom just sizing them up the whole segment, and I was just looking like, I need this match. I need it.
Say nothing to him. Didn't say nothing to him.
Just walked off like he was nothing.
Yeah, like I thought Raw, the backstage segments with Punk on Raw Monday were tremendous. I thought him and Drew was great.
Yeah,
him with the Judgment Day. Him with Kofi.
Kofi.
You're making me crazy. No, I don't do that no more. Like that popped me.
What did he say? The only real Kingston or something?
Yeah.
No, I think it was somebody.
Yeah,
I made that meme at a shot.
I definitely need him and Gable in a match, at some point. But yeah,
who and Gable?
Punk.
Oh. Thought you meant Dom.
Dom making stars. He's doing his job like the Brooklyn Brawler did back then. He makes stars. He's the one who gives the go ahead for everybody. Hey, Hunter, this is the guy.
you imagine that Hunter calling Dom into his office? Hey, Dom, who should we push?
I see potential in this kid.
Meanwhile, he's 25, 26. Like, this kid's going to be a star someday. You need to keep your eye on him.
I heard this Melo, he doesn't miss.
Speaking of Melo don't missing, and to tie into the Mysterio name, Dragon Lee is officially changing, replacing Rey Mysterio one mask at a time. So I don't know if you saw the clip, but he was at the house show. Little kid there with his Mysterio mask on. After the match, they're talking back and forth, and they swapped masks. He took the Mysterio mask off him and gave him his Dragon Lee mask. I said it before on the show weeks ago, months ago.
Once you get the kids,
they finally found their guy to be the next
that.
Rey Mysterio. Mm-hmm. So, in my Barry Horowitz, pat myself on the back. Triple H, you're welcome for that one again.
You think he'll trade for a Sin Cara mask?
No, he's skipping right over that kid.
Lay it over this bum's mask.
No. He'll trade with a Repo Man mask before he does a Sin Cara mask.
See, that Dom did what's best for business, you know? Did more than what his dad ever did.
And how about Rey Mysterio just being Father of the Year, just chanting for your son to lose and giving his opponent the biggest hug ever? Talk about a troll job as a parent. That's tremendous. Hugging and raising the arm of the guy that just whooped your son for the title. Like,
look, Book had me crying on commentary all night during that match. Is like, how you bigging up Ray and disparaging him in the same breath? He was like, "Get you're a great champ, but have you done what your son done?"
He's about to do your finisher better than you.
Oh, that's great. That's great. See, Liv Morgan got arrested for marijuana.
I seen the post. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Let me read it. See what it was.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll
lay her
see what
out.
happens with that.
I thought she was gonna come back and take the belt off Rhea.
Yeah, I don't know. She posted bond and got out, so
she ain't gonna get that RVD treatment, is she?
I don't know.
Oh, hell no.
Do we got a game this week?
It's you.
I didn't see nothing on the file.
All right. Well, I'll do an impromptu one here.
Okay.
And I saw this. I wasn't sure whose week it was, and end of the year, shit's getting crazy. But this comes from the Undertaker himself. Okay. So a couple days ago, Undertaker himself was giving an interview, and he brought up his Mount Rushmore of tag teams. Okay. So this is who Undertaker put on the Mount Rushmore tag teams. We're going to debate it. We'll do a little debate this right here now and see who you got. So he has the Road Warriors at 1, Rock and Roll Express at 2, Midnight Express at 3, and the Brain Busters, Telly and Arn at 4. This is the Undertaker's Mount Rushmore of tag teams.
I can see that. That's his era, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely his era.
I'm surprised he left off the Dudleys because he's worked with the Dudleys, and the Dudleys were there that whole time.
I think he stuck with an era.
You think he stuck with era?
I think he stuck with who he grew up watching, who his favorites. Yeah. It's kind of hard to put your peers on a Mount Rushmore.
Unless I guess the hindsight's not as much there. I have no problem with that list.
No, not at all.
I think majority of people have Road Warriors in their top 1 or 2 or on the Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, they may not get the same love as some of the other tag teams just based off of the fact that they didn't do it in WWE, given that era.
But they had matches.
But those two, Bobby Eaton to me is one of the most underrated, if not the greatest underrated wrestler of all time. And if you listen to anybody that talks about him, they will, from a wrestling standpoint, will tell you the same thing there, that he's criminally underrated. And then Tully and Arn, for me, even though they're running WWE was short as the Brainbusters,
Yeah.
I mean, Four Horsemen, like when Dax and Cash were first in WWE, that was the initial comparison and draw was Tully and Arn, and just a modern version of Tully and Arn. And I feel like that's why I gravitated to liking those guys so much. Now they're in ring, obviously, the matches that they've had as a tag team has put them on the map, to say the least. So I feel like, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if we look back at it, does that Mount Rushmore change based on some of these current tag teams that are around? Like, say what you will about the Bucks. Do they end up on a Mount Rushmore based on what they've done? Because they've done it themselves without the machine behind them.
Yeah.
Like them or hate them, you can't take away their success and what they've done. So
somebody's, not mine, but somebody's.
You have, like, say, the Hardys, you have an FTR, you have and tag team wrestling back in the 80s and early 90s, like in early 90s.
That's what you live for, man. It was great, some stuff.
You don't have that now. Mm-hmm. It's in pockets now. It's in spurts. It's not a consistent flow, which was one of the reasons why I think AEW was so attractive whenever they first started, because you felt, oh, here's the Young Bucks. They're EVPs of this new company. They said in the initial press conference, we're going to highlight tag team wrestling and present it in a way it hasn't been presented. And it hasn't gone that way. But they've had the teams in the division to do it. And you've seen it in spurts. I just don't know why they haven't went all in on it and made it a true focal point. They've gotten away more from the tag team and focused more on trios.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the Bucks, Pride and Powerful, FTR, and the Lucha Bros, how is that?
Right there.
How have you not? How is none of those teams main evented a pay-per-view yet? Yeah, that's true, Pro. That's definitely true. So, yeah, but no, it's interesting that somebody as respected as Undertaker universally, who a lot of people put on their own Mount Rushmore as far as single wrestlers, to get his thoughts and curiosity. I am curious to see how the question was presented to him. Like Jay said, maybe it was just based on eras or his preference before he listed the teams and that to see. But that I just saw the list of the four, and I thought it was interesting to bring up as far as a debate based off of one of the best to ever do it and who he felt like should be on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't get those guys given Mount Rushmores, right?
No, they never do. Never
like
do.
It's rare. It's rare that top talent gives them Mount Rushmore.
I think Flair gave his and then put himself on
it. I mean,
Flair said numerous times that Shawn Michaels is the greatest ever.
Yeah, he was on there.
And he also said too, Hogan was bigger than him in wrestling. Yeah, he was on the record saying that. He was like, Hogan was bigger than me.
So, I mean, but that was always the debate. That was the main. That I feel like the Flair Hogan was the initial delineation between entertainer and wrestler.
Yeah.
Hogan's the greatest entertainer / superstar ever. Flair's the greatest wrestler ever. Like, that was, for as long as you could go back, that was like the argument. I don't think Hogan could touch Flair in the ring, but If you watch Hogan outside of WWE, like you watch Hogan back in New Japan back in the day, with his matches with Stan Hansen and some Vader and some of those other guys over there, like Hogan could actually work.
Yeah.
He wasn't just hitting a
The
knuckle sandwich and a leg drop.
That's it,
Like
yeah.
he could actually, he was doing chain wrestling and in and
Yeah.
out holds, and it was like, oh shit, I
Yeah.
never knew Hogan could do this. I'm just used to him hitting a five shuffle and a leg drop. Like,
Yeah. It was like before the Hulkamania gimmick, he could go.
Mm.
He did.
and
It was
he
just
didn't
times were
have
changing. That's
Time
it.
out. What you mean? I can only do 5 moves of doom and be over? Oh, brother, you getting the leg drop in the pump up.
Man was out there looking like Dean Malenko.
But if you so here's a question for you, and we'll wrap up after this. You talk about Hogan would hit the initial 5 moves of doom and the leg drop and the pump up and the comeback and everything, right? If you look at the most over wrestlers, right? A lot of them only had like 4 or 5 moves.
That's it.
Oh,
You had Hogan with the pump up, the comeback, the leg drop, match over. Austin, you had him with the stomp in the corner, the Thez press, stunner, over. Cena, 5 knuckle shuffle, AA, match over. Right?
Well, I'm gonna put Taker in there because Taker did more, but you got the snake eyes, the rope walk, the choke slam, the tombstone.
With
yeah, the warrior. You had
Run
the
down the
shoulder.
ring.
Yeah, you had the press slam, the shoulder tackle, and the splash over. Like
run down to the ring.
Yeah, like I mean, hell, even the Rock. You had the people's elbow, rock bottom, over.
It's the simplest stuff too.
Which is why it's so tremendous when you have MJF who gets over a freaking double clothesline and a kangaroo kick in 2023. And people are going absolutely ape shit for it.
Because it's stuff you can actually pull off yourself.
That's true. I can't do a 450 splash, but we can do a double clothesline. Jeez, oh man, Taquan. Holy hell. That might be the worst one that you've ever said. The worst one.
You ain't getting no shirt now.
Anything else from the world of pro wrestling that was this week? No. True transparency. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to record stuff and release it. Normally we take time off around Christmas and New Year's. We got to figure all that out coming up here. But stay tuned. We'll post and let you guys know what's going to be upcoming. We definitely have our year-end awards that'll be coming up. We got the categories broken down and we figured that all out. So stay tuned. We do ours a little bit different, and of course it'll be in Mount Rushmore fashion. So that that sets us apart from everybody else's year-end awards. We don't just do the traditional categories and breakdowns. So make sure you tune in for that episode. As always, head on over to YouTube, like, subscribe, check the bell, get notifications, go back, watch the past catalog of everything that we've gone over since we've been doing the show for 166 episodes. We have some other stuff on there as well. Drink of the week, one gotta go. Some early after dark editions with some other topics there. Head on over to Spotify, subscribe. Let's build that audience up here for the upcoming year. Email the show, dumbmarkspod@gmail.com, prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod. Pick up some merch. We'll give you a live shout out on air. As always, we appreciate you guys rocking and rolling with us each and every single Saturday. We can't do it without you. We're glad to come on here, chop it up, talk pro wrestling, get the interaction. The comments always stay fire. We appreciate that. Again, thank you guys very much. It's been a hell of a year. We're continuing to grow, adding to the audience and onward and upward, as they say. Maybe a change coming in 2024. So stay tuned. There's a little radio tease in that regards. But anybody got anything else before I wrap up with the quote of positivity for the week?
Oh, I'm good.
All right. Well, enjoy your holidays next week. We may or may not be on. We'll let you guys know as the week progresses here. But enjoy the holidays with your loved ones. Stay safe. Drink, be merry, enjoy yourselves. And some quote here: positivity leads you into the week. Goes, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. As always, stay positive. Mental health is wealth. Until next time, I'm a Mark. You're a Mark. Tell him Mark. Y'all can catch us around the way.
Bye bye.